Hi guys, it's me Christy and I'm here with a collective book haul from July and now August. I almost said June, I don't know why. And I hope I will not be buying any more books because I am planning to go to Manila for the 35th Manila International Book Fair, and I'm super excited for it, to get like books at the discount and to find other books I haven't managed to grab here in Bacolod. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm super excited. And so without further ado, let's get into this haul. The first book I have to show you guys is Play It As It Lays by Joan Didion. I'm so lucky that I managed to find this here in Bacolod, mostly because I was bored one afternoon and I was just like looking through the shelves of the mass market paperbacks in book sale. Actually, most of these except for two are all from the used bookstore. And so I was bored. I was looking through the mass market paperbacks in book sale, and if you know book sale, they like to triple stack that shelf. So everybody's gotta do like a maze thing to move aside things just to look at the thing, to move it again to look at the other like thing. So it's like hassle. So nobody really goes there, and so I was just like patiently like looking through the titles, and then I noticed, I was like, Joan Didion? What? So found it, and then I found The Shrapnel Academy by Faye Weldon. This is about an academy who's named after Henry Shrapnel, the inventor of the exploding cannonball. And yeah, apparently this is controlled intensity, accomplished and timely, and best crafted novel of the year. What year was this? Well, it's kind of old, so what year was this? Oy. 1986. Okay. 3 by Flannery O'Connor, featuring Wise Blood. A good man is hard to find, but any man is hard to find. Anyway, The Violent Bear It Away. So I have A Good Man is Hard to Find, but I do not have Wise Blood and The Violent Bear It Away. So I figured, why not? It was also 40 pesos, and I just like how it's kind of beat up actually. There's writing on it, it's folded in some places, and it just has a lot of character to it, this book. Couldn't resist. And the other day, I managed to find Animal Farm by George Orwell. This was actually a steal because it's 20 pesos and it's really beat up. It's kind of yellow and there's like tears and everything, and yeah, I always thought that this was a much larger book than it really is. I didn't realize up to now it's actually less than 150 pages. So The Girls of Slender Means by Muriel Spark. It's basically about a hostel filled with girls who are just trying to get married. And it costs 50 bucks and it's really thin. And it's really cheap too, so. I also found, actually I managed to find most of these in all three, yeah. I was about to say most of these in one book sale, but I pretty much go around to most of them because you never know what you're gonna find. It's always like an adventure, so. I found Another Country by James Baldwin. I'm not entirely sure what this is about because there's no synopsis, it's all blurbs. And then here you just have his bio. So yeah, but I knew that I should probably read this because I want to expand my reading tastes. Because I mostly just read like old white men, or debut white women. So I think I need to like work on that. And I found Famous Writer School, a novel by Stephen Carter. And this is pretty much about a guy who's teaching writing through correspondence. So that's it, and it's supposed to be funny, and I think it will be cute. Also, the cover looks like a notebook, so I think that's adorable. And I found The Life of Elizabeth I by Alison Weir. And if you haven't heard of Alison Weir, she's actually I would say, historical biographer. She does a lot of historical biographies, not just Elizabeth I, But I found her because I actually read this book called Warrior Queens by her, and it featured 5 warrior queens from a long time ago, like Boudica, who was like a Scottish warrior queen, and then there was Cleopatra, and then we have Zenobia, and those are just the top 3. There were other 2, but I can't really remember them. And I just thought it was really cool because she also writes historical fiction, and that's really great because she does a lot of like in-depth research to make a biography, as well as, you know, get the history of the time, as well as what their clothes meant, what certain elements in paintings would mean, if they had any secret meaning. And so for me to like read her historical fiction stuff and also her just regular biography stuff, I think that's really cool because I like informing myself about this. Also, I've been obsessed with Elizabeth in England since I was like 15. I don't know why. She just really drew me to her. So, and then I found Eyes Like Stars by Lisa Matchev, and I got this because it was blurbed by Tamara Pierce. Tamara Pierce actually blurbed another book called Mistwood by, I forgot, but I like that book a lot, and I know that Tamara Pierce will not lead me astray. For me, she is queen. Like, I mean, yeah, there's like Sarah J Maas, and then there's like, you know, Sandra Clare, but for me, the high queen of like queen is Tamara Pierce. She's like the OG. She was the person who got me into fantasy and with female leads, strong female leads, and she a different kind of girl. It's not always the same kind of like chosen one thing. Like her series featuring Caladri, the first female knight in her Tortall series, was what really made me love her, because it's just a normal girl. Like, she didn't have any powers or anything, and that was beautiful. And you should really read that one. Look for her Caladri series. So yeah, Eyes Like Stars, I just thought it was cool because Tamara Pierce, she hasn't led me astray yet, and so what she recommends I will read. And then I found the 3rd book in, I think, The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in the Ship of World Making series, and it's called The Girl Who Soared Over Fairyland and Cut the Moon in Two by Catherine M. Valente, and I found it in hardbound. This was actually a surprise find because I was like, oh, they have this book in like National. So I picked it up. I'm like, oh, it's probably gonna be like 700 because it's hardbound, and then it wasn't. It was actually like I don't know what the amount is in dollars, but it was significantly less than that. It was like just a little bit more than what I would normally get in the used bookstore. And so I was asking the store clerk, I'm like, is this for real? Is this a real price? And then she was like, yeah. So then when I was gonna pay for it, I went up to the cashier, and I'm like, can you please check the price? And she's like, oh, this is it. And it was super cheap. And I was like, are you for real? Is this for real? She's like, yeah, it's for real. I'm like, okay. So then I bought it. I know, that's just me, because like, I'm not used to this being cheap. And then I was able to find book 2 in Philippa Gregory's, I don't know what it's called, the Order of Darkness series. And I remember finding book 1. This is Stormbringer's book 2. And I found it a few years ago, and I read it and I loved it. But then I saw this online, and I figured I want it, but I don't want it that bad that I have to order it and pay for shipping. Unless it's a rare book. So I was like surprised to find this just on the stack on the outside of the used bookstore. So I just grabbed it real quick. And then I found Maestra by L.S. Hilton, and I think this is something about a auction house. Well, it's supposed to be like, I'm not sure, like thriller, I think, and something about a painting or whatever. But yeah. And then the sequel to Al Capone Does My Shirts is Al Capone Does My Shoes, and book 2 in The Tales from Alcatraz, I think, by Jennifer Choldenko. And then I found Peter Carey's Wrong About Japan, A Father's Journey with His Son. This is a memoir, and I really didn't look too deeply into it. I just know that I think that the cover is really cool, and it's got them French flaps on the cover, and this is what it looks like naked. It's so clean and like neat, and then there's also like anime stuff there. And there's like a little anime picture right before the start of each, I think, chapter. So that is pretty cool. And then I was able to get Serve It Forth by MFK Fisher. This is from her, I think, Food-ish series. And this is about serving food, and like when Catherine de Medici brought Italian food to France because she really missed her home cooking. I haven't heard this one talked about ever. Not the review itself, but I mean this story from the Mechanics Institute review. This is issue number 6, published in 2009, and there is it features up and coming authors. But the reason why I got this was I couldn't recognize anybody else on this list except for Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. And she's got a story here called My American John, and I haven't heard anybody on BookTube talk about that besides her more popular stuff like We Should All Be Feminists or Americana. So I'm really interested in reading that story. And then I found Jonathan Coe, What a Carve Up. This is, I think, a kind of like a family saga about a fictional family in England who are like highly influential in politics. And there's something about a movie star. That's what I recall from reading the French Flap. So I clearly am a sucker for French flaps. Also, this cover, how could I say no? And then I found The Girl by Marie-Del Lesueur. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I think, well, one of those is correct. This is I think poems or short stories, and I got this because the blurb at the back was really interesting. It says here, Lesueur seems in love with the spoken word, and her consummate achievement as an artist, I believe, is her transformation of colloquial speech into musical prose. In The Girl, common street talk turns into exquisite poetic refrains. So that's what drew me to this. And then I flipped through it. It also doesn't look like it's that hard to read because it's just like little short stories or something. So. And then I found The Iron Woman, which is the sequel to The Iron Man by Ted Hughes. I'm actually not planning to read The Iron Man. I just want to read this because it's short and it's also Ted Hughes. I wasn't sure if this was like the Ted Hughes, Sylvia Plath's husband, until I looked at the dedication. It said for Frida and Nicholas. I was like, oh, it's him. And I haven't ever seen his stuff like in book sale before. So this was cool. This was a cool find, actually. And then I found Tamara Pierce, Circle of Magic, Sandry's book. This is book 1 in her second series. That's not Tortal. This is the Circle series. And I've been low-key looking for the rest of this series because I accidentally read the second part of this new series. This new world. It's the same world, but like a different place. And yeah. I also found Liars Club, a memoir by Mary Karr, and I almost only able ever to find this in like the online stuff, but I wanted to find it in person. And last but not least, I got Joseph Heller, Good as Gold. I was actually hesitant to buy this because I'm like, well, I'm not entirely sure I want to read it because I haven't even read Catch-22 yet. But first, the price was really cheap. And second of all, there's a blurb here that says, Joseph Heller does for Washington, D.C. what he did for the military in Catch-22. Now, I am actually a really big fan of House of Cards. So anything that has to kind of do like with like that sort of scene, if it interests me enough, I will go for it. And also because as I was flipping through it, because I was still like, you know, maybe, maybe not, I read like the opening quote by Lyndon B. Johnson as U.S. Senate Majority Leader. I've got his pecker in my pocket. That just sounded so House of Cards to me, so I was like, I'm in it. I'm in for this. So that's it. Anyway, I'm not gonna hold these up because that's a lot of books. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sticking around. Let's discuss further in the comments down below if any of these books interested you. And I will see you guys next time.